So we've got to a point where we can actually walk around as our MetaHuman, and we've got his running and idling and jumping animations. So we want to go ahead and re-implement the animations that we have created, and we'll do it slightly different this time. So we'll go ahead and open up the third person input actions, and then here we can create the 3 other actions for our wave, kick, and funny face. So in here, we're just going to go ahead and right click, input, and then we can create a new input action. So we can call this IA wave. So open that up. I can just say player wave. And then in the triggers, we want to look for pressed and released. So when the player presses the wave key and holds it down, the character will start waving, and then when they release the key, we'll stop the character from waving. So we can save that. And then we'll create another input for the kick. IA kick. And just say player kick. And then on this one, we just want to check for the pressed. So when the player presses the kick key, it'll perform its kick animation and revert back to idling. And then finally, we'll create another input action for the weird face. And then weird player face. And similar to the wave, we'll add 2 triggers for pressed and released. So same thing, we'll hold down the key to activate the weird face. When we release, we'll start doing the weird face. So now, if we go to third person input, we've got this input mapping context. So if we open that, we just want to add in the 3 additional input actions we've created. So wave, and we can expand that and just say, so if we click this and then press 1, it'll automatically populate this field. So when we're basically mapping the wave input action to number 1, and then we can go ahead and add a mapping for kick. Kick will be number 2. Okay, and then we'll add the final one for the weird face. And we can map that to key 3. So we'll save that. And then if we head over to the MetaHuman blueprint duplicate that we created, and open that. In here, in our event graph below everything else, we should be able to say get access to our input action wave. And then if we drag off started print string, so when we start the game and press 1, we should see the string hello printed to the screen. Which we can. So this certainly isn't necessarily best practice, but let's just to handle our input and animations all within this blueprint. So what we're going to do is, now that we know that this is triggered, we'll drag this off to first of all, when the player is moving, I want to go ahead and disable his movement. So when he's waving, he's basically just static and stands in the same place. So we can drag the character movement component and set that to disable movement. And then when the animation starts, we can drag that into, first of all, disable our player's movement. Then if we drag on our mesh, We then want to set the animation mode. And we can just set that to custom temporarily. And then plug that into there. For our body, so we can drag the body component, we want to play the wave animation. So we can drag from the body, play animation, can select our wave animation. Set this, we'll set this to looping. We can connect these ones. Get started, we disable the character's movement. We go ahead and stop the current animation for the mesh. We play our wave animation, which is associated with the body. So that should be good for the started side. And then when we are finished, we sort of want to do the opposite of what we've just done. So if we say, so we want to go ahead and re-enable the character movement. So we can say set movement mode and just set this back to walking. Just like that. Connect that up to the completed pin. And then for our body, we can set the animation mode to use the animation blueprint. So we'll go ahead and compile and save that, and we'll check what the result of that is. So if we hold 1, we can see he's started waving. Okay, and we can see that he hasn't gone back to his idle animation, so we'll fix that. So I think if we copy this mesh and plug that into this one also, and we'll see if that reverts to the idle animation. Okay, so we hold 1. Yep, there we go. So yeah, hold 1, he starts waving, release 1, he goes back to idle. Now you can see he can go immediately from a run to a wave. I think for the sake of simplicity, we can just leave it like that. I can see it, if you're waving, you can't start running, obviously, because we've disabled the character movement. I think for now, it looks a bit weird, but it sort of does what we need it to do.